Numbers have 4 different ways of being expressed. The first way that we have is called the cardinal number, which just indicates the counting number. 4. Ordinal numbers represent the order in which something is placed. For example, fourth. The adverbial form of the number indicates how often something occurs, and in English we would say 4 times. And the symbol then is used to symbolize the number that we're representing. We use the number 4. Underneath each of these you will see the Latin equivalent, but we're going to learn more about those in a few moments. We're going to begin by taking a look at the cardinal numbers, the counting numbers. And I always like to remember cardinal begins with a C, and so does counting numbers. We're only going to take a look at numbers 1 through 10 and numbers 100 and 1000 for now. 1 through 5, we have unus, duo, tres, quator, quinque, sex, septem, octo, novem, decem. And then for 100 and 1000, we then have centum and mille. It's very important to know these numbers, so I do suggest that you write them down now. Each one of these counting numbers is going to show up quite a bit throughout our year. But there's something that we need to know about these guys. These are numbers, and numbers do describe things, so they are working as adjectives. But most of them are what we call indeclinable, which means they cannot decline. They're going to stay this way no matter what they're describing in our text. For example, quinque pueri, we've got 5 boys, but quinque stays the same as when we're describing puellae, even though that's feminine. So we don't change the number to agree with what noun we're describing. This is different than what we've seen with other adjectives. However, there are 3 of them that are going to decline, and that's unus, duo, and tres. So it is important for us to know that. We're going to look at how that works, though, in class. So una puella, but unus puer. So again, the only 3 numbers that decline for now are 1, 2, and 3. Then we have our ordinal numbers, which represent the order in which something happens. We're going to learn 1st through 10th this year, and we're going to stop there for now. First, primus, then followed by secundus, tertius, quartus, quintus. 6th through 10th, sextus, septimus, octavus, nonus, decimus. Notice how they are very similar to what we saw for the cardinal numbers, but they're slightly different. And if you take a look, all of these end with us, that means these do decline and they do agree with the noun in gender, number, and case. Finally, we're going to take a look at Roman numerals, and this seems to be everybody's favorite. Roman numerals are going to use symbols to indicate their values, just like we use symbols today to indicate the word. In English we use 1, but in Latin they use an I. 5 is a V, 10, X, 50 is represented by the letter L, 100 is represented by C, and 500 is represented by D. A combination of these Roman numerals is going to be used to express more complex numbers in symbol form. And we're going to take a look at how to do that now, but again, we will practice it quite a bit in class. It's very important to break down these large numbers into their place values. And we want to look at the thousands category, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. And this is just like what you would see in your math classes today when you're basing things based on their place value or the decimal place. A combination of these numbers, too, is also going to be showing you to subtract or add in the process. When we put a smaller value in front of a larger number, that means we are subtracting. And if we go back and take a look, X we know stood for 10, and L stood for 50. Since X is less than L, because 10 and 50, we'll subtract the 10 from the 50, which means XL gives us 40. However, if we switch these and put a larger number in front of a smaller number, that means we're adding them together in that place value. So since L equals 50 and X equals 10, we're going to add them together and now get 60. So smaller in front of a larger means subtract, larger in front of a smaller means add. In addition, we can only add and subtract one value greater or less to remain in place value. Because 1 is a whole separate place value away from C, we would expect this to mean 99. But because this is in the ones category and this is in the hundreds, this won't work because we can only move one place value. So instead, we're going to represent 99 as X, C, I, X. Now let's break this down into the place values. We know X is smaller than C, so we'll subtract 10 from 100, which gives us 90. And I from X, we know that 1 is smaller than 10, so that's going to give us 9. And I worked within my place values. This represents the hundreds, but now it represents the tens, and then this represents the singles. Another rule that we need to follow is that no more than 3 of the same number in a row can be combined. For example, if we had 4 i's, that does not indicate 4 anymore. Instead, we'd have to subtract 1 from 5 to give us 4. Same goes down here. 400 is not represented by 4 c's, but instead a 500 minus a c to give us 400. And it's again very important that we work within our place values. For example, we have a large number here, M, D, C, X, L, V, I. We want to break this down into our thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones category. And it's up to you whether you'd like to work from left to right or right to left, but I tend to work from left to right. M, I know, represents 1,000, so I'm going to bring that down. My D's and my C's combined give me a hundreds value. My X and my L combined give me a tens value, and my V and my I give me a singles or a ones category. Now if I were to break these down into their numerical values, I get M equals 1,000, D and C together equals 600 because it's 500 plus 100. X and L I'm subtracting because X is smaller than L. That gives me 40. And over here again I'm adding because V is greater than I get 6. So if I were to make a combination of all of these numbers, I now have 1,646. Take a look at these numbers. Pause the video for a second and give it your best try. Okay, so you tried these out. I hope you did. I hope you didn't just pretend to stop it. But now let's take a look at how these be put together. The first number, MMDC LVI, would end up being 2,600 because of the D and the C, 50 because of the L, 6. Our next number, 300, 10, 1. So you have 311. And finally, our last number, MIV, 1,000. I have no number indicating the hundreds place, and I have no number indicating the tens place, but then I have 1 from 5, which gives me 4. So if we don't have a number representing that place value, we'll throw in a 0 at that moment. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what we need to know about